Hello, happy Friday. Welcome to our Friday Witchy Hangout. You can probably hear from my voice that I'm a little bit under the weather, but I'm coming out of it. We had a cold here at the Puckett household this whole week, but I'm feeling much better, but just bear with me. I might kind of keep things a little bit short today, but here we are. The world is crazy, you guys. How are we doing? Just before we get into this, I sincerely hope that you and yours are doing okay mentally, spiritually, physically, all of that, because it just feels like everything is so crazy and just up in the air. And I just sincerely hope that with everything going on that you're able to find like as much stability and peace and like find your center in all this as possible. And I know that we try to come here every Friday to just kind of gather together and center ourselves and share energy and dip in and all that stuff. And I just feel like things have been really difficult lately, and I just sending you guys love. So with that being said, we do have a reading here to do, and we are doing What is Their Hidden Truth? And the chat, as usual, has just been giving. Damien has been sharing a lot of really cool things about, I'm just going to share this because it's not going to be like up here whenever we get to pound number 3, but we're sharing some really interesting things about the Aletheia. So I'm just going to read this. So Aletheia, this is all Damien saying this. Aletheia actually means unforgetting, not just remembering, but unforgetting. Lethe, the daily act of holding a promise present in your mind and heart, of letting that promise drive all that you do, literally unforgetting it. Implied in the word is the idea that we are naturally in Lethe, forgetting. I love that. Lethe is the river in Greek myth that the dead drink from to forget their lives and pasts and all that matter to them, so that they can cross the river and dwell as I'm going to mess this up, somnolent shades in the underworld. So interesting. And then there was another one I wanted to read too. In the book of John, Jesus says, I am the Aletheia. He is saying, I am the unforgetting. Isn't that wild? That's so nice. That's so good. I just love this group of people, and I love like when we all can share these things, and just it adds such a layer of depth and understanding to these things. That's why I really do feel like we are the greatest resource, like human beings and connections, because you have things that you've read and that you're interested in, and so have I. And I just wish that the world, like as a whole, could just get on board with that. That we're much stronger together and we have more in common than not in common, and the things that we don't have in common can actually enrich our lives and our experience and our understanding of self and of other and of all of life. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this reading. We've got 3 piles as per usual. They're hidden truths. So we've got pile number 1 is the dead end. Pile number 1. Damien just said the quote is from blogger Stant Litore, Litore, if you want to give a shout out to him. I do. Okay, pile number 2, the pilgrim. And then pile number 3, Alethea. Okay, so I'm going to hold all these up. 1 is on this side, 2, 3. So do your thing with this. Have your process, relax your energy. Take a deep breath. Allow your intuition to guide you into the pile or piles that feel most relevant to you. Keeping in mind that the way that you reach your truth, your Alethea, might also say a lot. Okay. Doing this. You guys should, I hope that you guys are in the comments because there's so many good things that are going on there right now, as per usual. Okay. Okay. Pile number 1. What is this person's hidden truth? We have this dead end energy here. Okay. I actually, funny enough, I feel like this person's hidden truth is that there's actually not a dead end here. There's some kind of something here that they're not closing out. There's a cycle that's not actually been closed out. And I don't know what side of this you're on, because I think I'm picking up on a masculine energy here where it's like they're not closing out a cycle here with somebody, but it's because they're wanting somebody else to see. Okay, I'm doing a bad job of explaining this. There's somebody here, again, I'm seeing somebody put up this dead end, right? Like put up almost like a shield of sorts, but then I'm feeling kind of schmegsual activity going on here, like behind this, okay? So they're putting up some kind of dead end to you, or I think it's to you, in order to engage schmegsually over here with somebody else. And I don't know which side of this you're on, whether you feel like it's just kind of hooking up between you and this masculine, or whether it's like you're the ex here. But I do feel like this masculine is doing this. I'm almost seeing like a peacock with its feathers here, but it's like I'm seeing that almost as a fan. And like fan culture, like lady culture from England, where it's like there's the art of the fan and how to use the fan and how to like be coy with it, like like putting the fan down, but then like maybe you can see her eyes and she's like fluttering it or something. She's like kind of being coy. I feel like there's a weird mating dance going on here that I don't entirely understand, and that you might not entirely understand here. So you could be getting confused. You could be getting some kind of mixed signals here from this masculine energy. But I think this has to do, and again, I don't know which side of this you're on, because I think you could be on one side or the other here, but I do think there's an attachment here like to an ex, but there's also a desire, or maybe not an ex, maybe just somebody that this masculine wants, but like hasn't had, or like hasn't like fully let go of. But I do think that there's some kind of need to maintain some kind of control. And I think another way that this is kind of coming through to understand this is like a difference in the way that men and women fall in love, that that's kind of contributing here to the differences. So I hope that I'm explaining this well. You know how like they say, I think it's vasopressin. Men fall in love like with vasopressin, like that's the hormone. Women, it's more like with oxytocin. So vasopressin is actually like very connected to like a stress response. You gotta sweat me kind of a thing. So I feel like there's a feminine here that this masculine kind of sweats, like he fears losing her, or not fully having her attention or something. And it has somehow equated to like a love response in him. And your situation, like maybe it's very dramatic between these two. If it's not, then I think, and maybe this is part of the hidden truth here, like especially if you are a masculine and you're dealing with this feminine that you really have your eye on, but maybe you've involved other people in the relationship, then I really feel like if she's not crazy, or like if it's not like crazy dramatic between the two of them intentionally, because there's fear of abandonment or whatever like going on, I really think that it's because she has a strong sense of self-respect and he has involved someone else in their relationship. And so she has just put up this wall. And again, with this feminine, I feel like this wall is almost kind of a faux wall too, because it's like we were really feeling each other, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere you had this person involved. You have T minus 20 seconds to explain to me that you were acting a fool and that you did this to try to get my attention or something like that. Otherwise, I'm feeling like the alarms going off, and then like the wall kind of just like shutting down, like we are in danger, shut this down, because this is a man who is out of control or playing games. It's not like real love or whatever. And I think, like I said, I think it's a misunderstanding of how everybody's falling in love here, because this masculine, I think, again, he's trying to do this mating dance because he knows like when he feels that like stress kind of response, that's kind of what it means, that he's like kind of emotionally invested, like to him. I'm not saying this is right, wrong, or indifferent. This is just, what I'm saying, like I'm picking up on here. So he wants to induce that in this feminine that he actually wants, that maybe there's some competition on the field and that she should get her booty in gear and she should sweat him. But in reality, he's driving her away, because women fall in love via that like oxytocin response, right? That love me, be gentle, be compassionate, hug me, treat me softly and kindly. And I'm not getting that message if you're playing some kind of weird game. I'm not picking up on that. As a matter of fact, again, if she is self-respecting, then I feel like she's going to put up the wall for real, and she's going to kind of move away, even though there's a lot of passion, or there is a lot of love, or there was a lot of promise in whatever this is, because she's not trying to go for a ride, and she's certainly not trying to be treated that way in the long term. And I think she feels that, if this is how he's treating her in the beginning, it's only going to get downhill from there, like when they're older and when life gets real and there's, stresses and stuff. So she's trying to cut that off sooner. Now, if there's another person involved here that's maybe not understanding that, it's because I think this masculine's maybe trying to keep these two separate. And I think part of the hidden truth is he's maybe playing both sides of the fence here. Like maybe that's something you need to look at, is that maybe there's a reason that both people involved think that this masculine is interested in them, thinks that he is invested in them. And it's because in some way he's given both of these people the impression that that's what's going on. And he's doing that, playing both sides against the middle. That's what he's doing. But I do think he's got big feelings here for one of these feminine energies. And I think he's kind of stringing another person along, honestly. Like he's kind of like using them. I also think, women, when we are intimate with somebody, there's just that natural release of oxytocin. Unless somebody has, attacked you or like treated you unkindly, then there's that fear, response. But like, I think that maybe if you're on this other side where you're feeling bonded with this masculine, but you don't understand why he's playing games, or like he seems to want somebody else's attention over here, you might not understand why he's so cold. It's because it doesn't work the same way for men. Men only release that oxytocin when they're intimate with a woman that they are committed to and that they care about. Like it's not like always a given. They really can do the thing without the feelings. And so, and again, I think that's causing confusion like across the board, because the feminine that it likes, probably very confused, thinking we have this thing here and we both care about each other and I don't understand why you're over there, and then the person he's with is, we're doing this thing. I don't understand why you like her and why you don't like me, because you're doing the thing with me, So I win over her and I'm letting her know every moment of every day. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's causing a lot of confusion here, because nobody is being treated the way that they're expecting to be treated here in this situation. So again, I'm seeing this masculine almost like trying to control the situation. I'm seeing him again with the fan in front of him, the fan kind of throwing up a faux wall, that where he's doing some kind of like faux little like mating dance or something. And it feels very come hither. It feels very chase me, to like a specific feminine energy that he wants that attention. But I do think that he's trying to in some way mask that there maybe is a sexual relationship going on. Nikki, thank you so much for the super chat. Take my money, you beautiful witch. Thank you. Yeah. But yeah, so I think that it's just causing like a lot of confusion, and I think he's playing a game. And even though he wants to give this feminine that he likes the impression that maybe there's some competition on the field, I don't think he necessarily wants to disrespect her. I think he knows he can push her too far, but I think he knows he's got to like, he's probably selfish. Like he probably just wants what he wants and he doesn't care. Again, the emotional feeling that that's going to have, like, for both of these women, honestly, for both of these women. Or like, again, switch out the genders. I'm just trying to, this is the way that's coming through, and I'm on cold medicine, so please don't like expect too much of me today. But, you know, I feel like both these women in a sense are being lied to and pitted against one another. And then this masculine gets to kind of, he's hoping, I don't think it worked this way because he doesn't understand how his lady falls in love, the one that he wants to fall in love with him. I think that, you know, there's just a confusion around, well, I think he also gets the benefit of then being able, if he can cause these two to kind of sweat each other, then he gets to sit back and just be like, I'm the prize. I'm the chill, cool prize. Like, women be crazy, right? Like, women just be so crazy. Meanwhile, he's stirring both of these women up, and he's doing it so that he doesn't have to be vulnerable. That's what I feel like is going on. It's cowardice. There's an immense cowardice that's going on here. With this masculine energy. And I'm noticing that it's the left hand that's up here, left side of the body being the feminine side of the body. So it's something to do with like his feminine side. And we've picked this up, this masculine over relying on a feminine side, which is probably why he's taken a masculine incarnation, is to focus on that masculine side. He's got to be in that doing principle, and he needs to understand, he needs to make the connections between how his actions, his doing or his lack of doing, because not doing is making a decision, it affects his situation, you know? And I'm hearing that song from Sam Hunt. It's called Ecstasy, like literally X2C, but it's a play on the word ecstasy. And he realizes, I think the genders are switched here. He's like, girl, you look kind of cute, called out. But he realizes that this girl is just toying with him, that he's just some kind of like, she wants her ex to see her with him out and about, so that her ex starts to like sweat it or whatever. And he realizes it, and he's like, whatever, I'm getting what I want out of the situation too, like in that song. So, but I think that, you know, reverse the roles there. But yeah, he's wanting somebody here to see, but I think it's coming off very cruel, and it's coming off very calculated, and it's not endearing him to the person that he this is a guy who doesn't get the girl he wants, basically. I kind of think like it can't help but be that way, because he's not even taking the time to understand like her or what she needs or how she falls in love. And he needs to be soft with her, and he needs to make sure that her and everybody else knows that his focus is on her. But I think he would have to be vulnerable. I think that's the one. I think he wants to maintain some kind of control in the situation of like, well, you don't have power over me, because he views having emotions for her as having some kind of power over him. Yeah, I'm being drawn into the love messages here. There's a lot of feelings. And I do think there's a faux ending that's like masking for the need or the want for a new beginning here. I have never loved anyone the way that I loved you. I knew it. I wasn't planning on having anything serious when we met, but I can't deny that I'm falling for you. Okay, our connection is complicated. There are issues out of our control. I kind of wonder, this he could be saying to this other person here on the side that, oh, well, I wasn't planning on having anything serious, but, you know, and then on the other hand, it's like he's talking out both sides of his neck. Our connection is complicated. There are issues out of our control. When really, no, he doesn't want this other person here. He wants this other lady. You are so beautiful inside and out. There's a lovingness. There's a fixation here. I know that we're spiritually connected. Somebody he feels like he is spiritually connected to on this side of things. Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of excuses here on this other side, but it like maybe sounds like very loving. This isn't over between us. I'm coming back for you. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I'm hearing back burner like for this other person, but everybody here is getting mixed signals. That's what's going on here. And it's because there's a decided lack of masculine energy and the masculine action. And I'm talking about the energy of masculine action from like all of these people. It's getting like very confused because like this feminine that this masculine is like in love with, even her masculine action in this situation, she doesn't know what to do. She is like getting some kind of signal. Oh, I'm being played with. I have self-respect. I'm needing to shut my walls off, you know, unless these two have a very volatile, dramatic kind of connection, in which case they're throwing things back and forth, and you really do not want to get involved in that. Because ain't nobody an adult over here, okay? And they're confusing love and drama for genuine connection, right? So just take that however it resonates, because it's hard for me to tell like where the healthy kind of person is, because you might well be a healthier person, but like you're over here and you're being nice and you're giving everything, but you don't understand why his attention's not on you. I don't know. But there can be a sane person here that he's in love with as well. I just think that the way that she stresses him out is just because She's very self-respecting, and his games won't work on her, and that's going to confuse him and stress him out. And that is probably a call to the spiritual connection between the two of them, because he does have to raise his vibrations to be with her. He does have to connect with his heart. He has to lead with his heart, and so he's not muddying the waters. Because I also think this is a man that can't handle his emotions, and then he projects out onto everybody and everything else. This is a man who will become very defensive when the person that he's trying to string along calls him out, because he likes the convenience of having them or whatever. So he'll say one thing and do another, basically, over here. And then he just can't bring himself to just be fully committed to like one person, because that scares him. But he has to confront that to be able to be here. So this is a lot. This is a lot. This is a lot that's going on over here. Hello. Trauma bonding. Yeah. Yeah, so this, oh my gosh, this is a functioning dysfunction, and it can only, this is going to lead to a lot of pain. I feel like having this man in the mix, unhealed, it's just going to lead to a lot of pain. Because look, the Five of Cups for me, this is Mars and Scorpio energy, which can a lot of times for me mean some kind of like hidden power dynamic sexual strategy. That's what I'm seeing coming off of this masculine. And it's going to have him lose. And it's going to have everyone lose, really. And it is a functioning dysfunction, and he's trying to move away from something here. Yeah, from a past connection I'm hearing that felt really good, a sweetness and an innocence. There's something from his childhood. This is also a man who could have been cheated on in the past and is now taking it out on everybody else who didn't cheat on him. Because he's not doing the healing work within himself, and he just maybe is like wounded. Yeah, options. It's made him confused. Because he jumped in with somebody here. Oh, God. He could have, okay, this is not going to be for everybody, but he could have gotten somebody pregnant here in the past. That was, I mean, we've got the Magician card showing up. So negative, this is manipulative. So if these two are toxic over here, then it's because somebody here is like very manipulative, but giving the impression that they're like sweet or something. I don't know. And then he got very defensive because of money and because he's not wanting to be committed. Yeah. So I think there's something going on here in this masculine's past. Okay. Yeah. Where maybe he got cheated on by somebody that he thought was one way, but they cheated on him, maybe got pregnant by somebody else. I don't know. There's something here that he needs to process. And he needs to have a new beginning. He needs to set up strong boundaries. I think he probably needs to be alone for a while. He needs to feel some kind of burden, and he needs to connect with his own freak flag. And I'm hearing like to hell with some kind of judgment here. He needs to stop worrying about that, because that's what's keeping him stuck. He needs to make a decision. He needs to cut ties here with something that has him not. It's maybe a tricky person, but it aligns with some part of him. Okay. And he can't win this way. And again, the Five of Swords, to me, it's like nobody wins in the Five of Swords. There's a lot of manipulation. There's a lot of trying to leverage your strengths against other people's perceived weaknesses. But yeah, it's all of this. I feel like this masculine is very manipulative, to be honest with you. Even though he has like love in his heart, like he doesn't know what to do with it. He's certainly not living or acting from that place. So instead, he's just very, very manipulative. He has a decision that he needs to make. Yeah. And I think it might have to do with like how he comes across and how he thinks that he can manufacture some kind of respect in the world, something very superficial, and as opposed to something, we just had the Queen of Pentacles, something actually real, something actually valuable and actually stable. Yeah, this is a karmic lesson. And I feel like this karmic lesson is wrapping up now currently. So crossroads. Yeah. So this is a man at a crossroads. I know the story. Okay, I'm so glad. Okay. Unfinished business and the truth. Look, there's unfinished business here. Truth, toxic relationship. Because somebody's wearing a mask. Hidden motive, concealing, disguise, and lying. That's what I'm telling you. This man is strategic. He puts on a mask as it suits him. So if you can't trust the things that this man says, you really can't. And you can't trust his actions either. So I don't know how you deal with this. Legal matters, ghosted. I don't know how you would deal with this. This is just a man I feel like you really cannot be in a relationship because he's not made himself available. He's not made himself a person to be in a relationship with, because this is a man who needs, I just heard trauma bonding, just like Catherine was saying. But he needs a lot of healing, and he needs to do the healing work himself. Nobody is going to heal this man. he needs to do it himself. And I feel like the lesson for you is to actually put up the dead end here. Because this card, the paradox of it is that it can be this like very passionate, vivacious new beginning. And I feel like that's what's awaiting you when you say no to this kind of behavior in all its forms, whether it's coming from this man or anything. I'm hearing that there's a meme and it's like, do yourself a favor and take mixed signals as a no. Like if you don't know where this man is coming from, up, down, or if you feel like he's got love for you, but he's not willing to reconcile that and act right and treat you, make sure that from start to finish, you're treated well and kindly in his presence. Don't stick around. It will only get worse. I'm hearing it will only get worse from there. So I feel like, yeah, your karmic lesson is probably, I just heard, I don't go where I'm not wanted. I don't go where I'm not wanted. If you want to be with her, be with her. If you want to play some games, you're playing by yourself. I feel like you need to leave this man with your dick in his hand. Yeah. So let me just get some advice and then we're going to move on to pile number 2 here. You are at a crossroads too. See how this, energy mirrors, because this man is at a crossroads. If he's not making his decision, now he's put you at a crossroads. Do you see that? If he's not going to take care of it, he's passing the potato. He just threw you the hot potato and now you're at your own crossroads. Which way are you going to go? Right? Now this becomes a you decision because you can't win here. You can't. This man, men keep themselves. Okay? You can't be with a man who has not decided to be with you fully and completely. You just can't. You can't make it work. You'll never be able to make it work. He's not going to wake up one day and realize that he wants you. Okay? Like if you're always around. And even if you're not around, consider that you're not around for a reason, that you weren't crazy like when you were making that decision, in the past, because you really cannot win here. And there is some sneakery going on. And truly, it does not matter which side of the equation that you are on. This is a man who, his way of being in the world and his way of being in love relationships is that he plays both sides against the middle. There's no love in it. Even though he feels love, this is not a man who will act on that. He just wants to bury it within. I think he's sneaking around with somebody. And I think the person he's sneaking around with is manipulative too. I think that that's what these two have in common. And I think you should just let them destroy each other because there's nothing worse for this man. He will give him a taste of his own medicine. And I feel like if you're the nice person here, which I think a lot of you are, you're the sane person. If you've given this man a run for his money, it's just because you're very self-respecting. But this is anxiety inducing. Nobody, I'm going to say this, literally Spirit is saying nobody in their right mind would choose this. Okay. So this man, consider that he really truly is not in his right mind and he's got to deal with that on his own. You don't take this on because if you stick with this man, you're going to be in this state of anxiety. That's going to be you. And I feel like it's helpful for you to frame this decision at this crossroads that you're at is like, how do I want to feel when I wake up every single day? Anxious because I'm with somebody I can't trust and who is not upfront and who wants to play weird games with me and thinks that that's a love dance, or who is holding on to somebody from his past and sneaking around and being grotesque. Is this how you want to feel every single day? Or can you just hand him back the hot potato and say, you know what, if you're going to remain stuck in this position, that's your birthright. Okay. That's what you've chosen. You've chosen anxiety. I'm not, yeah, because this man will be in and out. He'll be in and out because he feels he has options. Yeah, and he's confused by those options because he's a fool. This man's a fool. Okay, so let's not, any of us, waste any more time on this guy, and let's move on to pile number 2. This is a person who does not deserve our time and our energy and our beauty and our love and our patience because he will only weaponize it against you. Love is a beautiful thing. Empathy is a beautiful thing. And you deserve somebody who will treat that with tenderness, kindness. And this is also the man who erodes our communities, erodes our social bonds, but then blames it and says, oh, well, you should have put up with poor treatment and stuck by my lying, cheating ass, even though I didn't treat you like a person. No. Okay. No. Okay, pile number 2.
Nikki says, excuse me, sir, you dropped your tater.
Okay. Pile number 2, moving on. Pardon me. I'm ill. Let me look cute though. Oh my gosh, I feel like such a swamp monster. But when I did my makeup, because I have been feeling like a dog like this whole week, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I actually look somewhat like normal. I feel horrible on the inside, but I'm feeling like somewhat better, but yeah. Yep. Nike Mania just said, I'm so done with this masculine, a coward, and everything like my father, which is a bad thing. Yes. Yes. And you know what I've noticed too? It's like there's a lot of projection. Like, I think that you're actually the strength. Like, you're actually everything that he wishes that he was as a man or is expected to be as a man. And they hate you for it. Like, they end up hating you for it. Anyway. Tonight we are a swamp coven in solidarity with the buckets. Yes. No, you guys can go shine your beautiful lights. Okay, pile number 2. What is their hidden truth? Okay, oof, this is a person that's heartbroken. Okay, actually, I feel like I think there's a situation that is congealing in my mind here. If this is a feminine, I feel like, okay, well, man, it's always hard to like figure out how to get into this message. Okay, so the Pilgrim card, like when it's in like its negative aspect, it can be somebody who is like very flighty, very flaky, very non-committal. And so I think that there's a feminine whose heart has been wounded by this. People being like not choosing her or being very flaky or being non-committal, but maybe it's like under the guise of somebody being the pilgrim, like I'm just free or I'm just a nomad or like, and somebody here is like very aloof to her pain and like aloof to the fact that like, just as I'm not even talking about romantic relationships. I think this is actually, if this is a feminine that you're asking about or you're the feminine in this situation, I think this is much bigger than romantic relationships, although we tend to like kind of live out our gunk, you know, in those kinds of romantic relationships. But I think this is somebody who has like made a decision to heal their heart. And I'm literally seeing this feminine's heart with like bow and arrows like in it. And like she's just like shaking her hands and like pulling it out and then like trying to offer it to God. She's like done everything is what I'm getting. Like I'm seeing her like, you know, putting like wrapping it in bandages and like putting it in the sun and like she's tried everything, but I feel like she is just like kind of tapped out. So I feel like there could be a masculine energy here that is like looking at this feminine and saying like, oh, well, she's just non-committal or she's just flaky or she ghosted me or this or that and the other thing. But there's a real reluctance for him to look at the fact that he has been those things to her. He's been aloof to her pain. He's been part of the problem is what I'm getting. In reality, I think his like hidden truth, and maybe this connects back to pile number 1 a bit, but is that he has been telling himself that this is somebody who's like avoidant, but they always kick the rock down the road. Like, okay, he's been telling himself that he's been learning and that he's been like getting better and that he's been like, oh, I'm going to work up to it. But really, that's just a way that he's avoidant and that he's aloof. Somebody here, though, I feel like it's the feminine. It's like all of this pain has like actually led her to genuine spirituality, like a genuine spirituality. But there's somebody here, and I feel like it's a masculine. So take these energies, however, okay? I feel like it's a masculine that like, honestly, there's a feminine here and he like was going to propose. He was like, he had his eye on her. He feels so hurt. He feels so let down. He feels so heartbroken by her, but he's like just not looking at like his own aloofness here. Yeah. Let me get some more cards here. I feel even though we're apart, you speak to me through music. Hold on. I'm just trying to get, yeah. Secrets and illusions, the moon card. There's a lot of fears, secrets, and illusions here that are kind of clouding somebody's perspective here. I just feel like there's a masculine energy here who feels like a feminine is running away from him and that she's like broke his heart and that she's doing it to be difficult or that she's like just this pilgrim or whatever. But then again, this is a feminine who's been through a lot and in some way he's like kind of, yeah. Okay, what's the hidden truth here? Oh, killing me softly. Yeah, okay. Somebody here got free, basically, out of a cycle that was going nowhere. That's what I feel like the hidden truth is. There was some kind of cycle that he can tell himself all day long he was working up to something, but he wasn't taking any action, and it was just a way for him to continue to be avoidant. And he kind of put her in a situation where she had no choice but to make, or flip these energies if you need to, but like, that's how it's coming through. Like, she needed to protect herself, and she needed a new beginning. That's what she needed for herself. And it was either because he didn't even stop to think to consider what she wanted. They didn't have a conversation about that. He just, in his mind, thought, so there's a lot of resentment, I feel like, that's maybe been building up here, because there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of hurt, there's a lot of resentment about like maybe the obstacles here, and about a coldness that somebody is experiencing, when in reality, somebody here was not getting what they needed from the situation. They were not actually genuinely considered. There was only a faux considering of this person. And it's just a way for, I think, the masculine in the situation to just be like, I gave her everything that she ever wanted, and then she just like, or I was working up to it. But that wasn't communicated to her. I think if he actually stops and like takes himself out of his own perspective, truly puts himself in her shoes, and looks at, okay, the things that she was told, the things that she can see, and not the things that she can't see, everything that she has to go off of. I think he's going to realize that the landscape did not look the same from her side of things as it did for his side of things. But there's a lot of blame, like, towards her for walking away from him, or for being free. I'm hearing I'm hearing that song by Free Spirit, Khaled. I think it's Khaled. No, it's not. Anyways, yeah. And I think, far from just being a free spirit, there's a lot of pain here that's been caused, like, where it was like, I have no other choice but to choose myself because I can't take any more. And I don't even think this necessarily has everything to do with this masculine, even if it was just, well, he was nowhere near her protecting her and making sure that nobody else was picking on her. So, Okay, so the truth is that this masculine was working very, very hard. And there's some kind of karmic web here of routine. I feel like, yeah, somebody here is like stuck in routine, the routine of something here. And it's making him want to fight. Like, that's, somebody here was like stuck in a routine, stuck in the web, stuck in the day-to-day mundanities, and was wanting a new beginning, wanting to clear the air here with something, with somebody here who is very defensive, but sweet and small. But the 8 is having a new beginning. The 8 is some kind of like transformation. There's a not seeing of the truth here, like between these two people, because both of these people, okay, let it cook. Okay, sorry. Somebody said to restart this because it's a continuation and that they were going to cry. And I don't know exactly what that means, because I actually feel like these energies are actually very different. Because I do think that somebody here is stuck in some kind of routine. This has to do with like work. This has to do with, I think that I'm building up to something here in order to close out some kind of a cycle here. I want to break the mold of some kind of secrecy. Okay. So I think there was a masculine, sorry, I'm all like messed up here. There was a masculine who, was putting something on the back burner. And I think that he was working, and I think that he was trying to kind of close some kind of karmic cycle. I do think that he was trying to bring in some kind of like money or some kind of good fortune, but he was being very secretive here about this. And, yeah, I think he wanted to marry somebody here with this like daughter of wands. Okay, so this is somebody who is very sweet, very innocent. Things are kind of like fresh. Things are very new, like here with this person. So you might not have even known this person like all that much, but there was a very strong, the feelings were like kept buried. Okay, so he was waiting. Flip the genders if you need to, but I'm picking up on a masculine who was like working, trying to end some kind of karmic cycle. For some of you, this is a masculine who was like stuck in some kind of poverty or some kind of like restriction to do with work. He was trying to like break free from that. He was trying to break through something to do with that. He was trying to bring in some kind of like good karmas, good fortune, and he was keeping all of this a secret here with the high priestess. And he was keeping some kind of feelings here, like secret here as well. But I do think that he had marriage in mind with somebody to do with this daughter of wands. And I do think this is a specific person that he has this in mind with. But again, secrets and illusions coming through here with, yeah, okay, fears, secrets, and illusions with the Mother of Cups. And he has a fear that she's blocking off the cup of love here, but really this is her energy with the Daughter of Wands. So he is afraid. Look, he's afraid that she's like, look at this, okay? Because this swan looks grown. This swan looks very matter of fact. This swan looks like, I'm not giving you my cup of love. Like that's what this looks like. In reality, this female that he has his eye on is this Daughter of Wands, very innocent, very young. You know, I've always said a snake that is young is the one that's most likely to bite you, because they don't know where the line is. They don't know when you're walking down the trail that most humans actually don't want to bother with snakes, so they don't have to get all like frazzled or whatever. So she's being very protective here, and she wants some kind of new beginning for herself here, but she's clinging to something. Oh my gosh. Yeah, she's clinging to a vision of him. I don't know. Okay, like for some of these feminines, they could be clinging to like, this is F-boy energy. This was third party situation. So I don't know if she's holding on to some kind of hurt here and like just refusing to let it go. It's like she wants to so bad, but she's a, yeah, I think she's a runner, like with the cheetah energy. She's a runner. She's very skillful, and she feels like she needs to focus on herself. And she's, look, okay, I didn't even notice this. Like the Death card is looking one way, and then the Magician card is looking the other way. So it's like, do I hang on here to this? Is this going to change, or am I going to bolt in the other direction? And this might have to do with her independence here, like with the Magician card, with the eye, with the number 1, with like learning some kind of skills. And it could be that she wants to join some kind of skill program, or I don't know, something here like this. She doesn't know. But she's young, like in some way she's young, and she doesn't know like what to do. So she's confused. She's really confused. And, she knows that there's, maybe some fruits here on this tree, but that it has not been equal give and take. Yeah. With the Father of Cups. Why? She feels picked on. I honestly think she feels picked on with the, 8 of Swords. There could be distance here. There could be, she might even think that this masculine has somebody else, like loves somebody else. Like, look, 10 of Swords, like betrayal energy. She ran because he didn't tell her what he wanted, and she had things to sort in her life. Speak up when you can, because there's loss otherwise, especially when there are emotions on both sides. Yes. So both of these people are wanting a new beginning here. This is a communication problem between these two people, because I just feel like everybody is understanding that they're an individual and that they have to do certain things. But if you're going to be a couple, then you have to kind of plan together. You need to make decisions together. I feel like this also to me looks like traditional gender roles kind of gone amok, because I think that, you know, he wants to just have everything ready made and then like hand her everything, you know, like here's the ring and the house and the dog and the car and the kids and the home and like here's everything. Like I already did everything. Here you go. And I've proven my worth to you as a man. And she is like, I am getting so many mixed signals. I sort of feel like I need to protect myself here. And I don't know if this is to do with him or if this is to do with, you know, experiences that she's had in the past. But I can see that she doesn't have the experience to be able to process this, especially without communication here. Look, Temperance and Justice. So there's a karmic lesson that's going on here. These are 2 major arcana cards, very, very strong in terms of making a decision and in terms of waiting. Somebody can only wait so long. Like, again, this is tempering out after an ending. That's what I feel like is going on here. So, yeah. Tower and the Sun. I feel like somebody here is having a Tower moment, realizing something about this. Like both of these people, maybe. There's a lot of mirroring. There's a lot of reflecting here. This is like entirely a communication problem between these two people, I feel like. And it also somehow ties into culture, because, you know, culture kind of fills in the gaps for us. So if you share a culture with somebody and it's like, this is what courtship looks like I'm even thinking about in America, like there's actually different microcosms of like certain cultural experiences where like, I'm thinking about like the minute I watch this little girl, she's a grown woman with like 4 kids. I don't know why I just said that. So disrespectful. There's a grown woman that I watch, and she's a Mennonite, and like she was sharing like how her and her husband met, like what is dating and courtship like for them. And there's of course different sects of Mennonite, but he literally, like, at 18 years old, had, like, saved up enough. He, like, worked in construction and stuff, saved up enough. He had bought them a house. Like, literally, they got married. They moved into their house. Like, That is definitely not traditional American dating culture. So I feel like there's lines getting crossed here because both of these people are kind of thinking that culture is filling in the blanks and culture is somehow not filling in the blanks here, like in a way that is satisfactory. So I feel like I just feel like there's a lot of love, there's a lot of romance, but there's a lot of confusion, and there's something toxic here from the past that's affecting this situation here as well. And I do think I'm hearing patriarchy, like with the Father of Pentacles and with this like lamb, this like sacrificial lamb. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like these people want the Two of Cups, but then they're getting the Two of Swords because the communication is so off. Why is the communication so bad? Okay, because there's some kind of stagnation, and because both of these people I think are needing to see something from the other person from a different perspective. I don't think that there's actually pain that's meant to be caused here by either person. I just think somebody here needs to speak. But the feminine in this situation, it looks young to me. In some is younger or is innocent or is sweet. Again, it's that baby snake energy of like, I will fight you, but it's like in this like tiny little squeaky voice, like, if I need to fight you, I'm gonna fight you. It's like she's prepared to defend herself even though she feels kind of like inequipped, and she feels like maybe that's what she needs to kind of do. This masculine thinks that he's doing everything right. He thinks that he's doing everything by the book, by not including her in the decision making. It's very patriarchal. By not having a conversation with her, by not like expressing certain things. He's trying to have his actions work for him because he's putting all of his but it's like they're not partners. That's kind of what it feels like to her. So I do feel like if there has been a break in this connection, it's because Spirit induced this so that everybody here can get a different perspective on themselves and on how we need to center communication. That's what I feel like the karmic lesson is here. So basically the hidden truth is we've got two people here that do not mean to hurt one another, that care for each other very deeply, but that somehow because of a lack of communication here and assumptions about the other person that are not complete and are not like true, we've got two people hurting each other very much. Yeah, and it's coming off here like each person's not getting what they want or what they need, and that everybody's got to be defensive, and that people are wanting quick results. I kind of feel like an argument is the best thing that could happen here. Both of these people are probably trying not to argue with the other person, but honestly, if one person was like, you're such a fucking asshole, then like the other person would be like, no, I'm fucking not. And then like these two people can go at it, and I just feel like you're going to have a landslide of truth here that would actually heal the situation. And yeah, it would lead to a lot of love because both of these people feel betrayed. Both of these people feel hurt, they feel confused, and they don't know what they're doing wrong. They don't know why the other person's acting the way that they're acting. Yeah, and I'm hearing, okay, right, eight of Pentacles to me, that's Mercury and Virgo. This is routine. It's like a lot to do with routine. I'm doing what I've always done, or I'm doing the routine. Like it feels, both of these people feel like I did what I'm supposed to do. And then why did you do that thing? Or why didn't you do that thing? Or like, I don't know. Like, I'm just so confused. I'm just so confused here. Yeah. And then something toxic has gone on here. Once again, attributed to some kind of patriarchal energy. Oh, purity culture. Okay. I really feel, okay. Okay, I kind of feel like somehow like the culture in this group has everybody like hiding or being defensive because it doesn't work for anybody. And I think that there's a lot of fear of like, if I open up and I tell you like the truth, or that I was struggling with this or struggling with that, or this is why I did this, or this is why I did that, or you know, like this is what really went on, I'm afraid that you're going to judge me because I'm just a person and I'm genuinely confused, and I'm genuinely trying to do my best by you, and I'm trying to do my best by me. And sometimes it feels like those two things are at odds. And I know that on my own, I can't fix that disconnect between us. And I know that on your own, you cannot fix that disconnect between the two of us. But it's like both of us are trying to play our little part here in the purity culture dance. And it's just not realistic. And I don't know how to, I don't know how to bridge the gap. I don't know how to bridge the conversation of like, we pop the bubble. Like in some way, like a bubble is popped here. But these are two people who I think do love each other very much, break the mold for one another. There's good karmas that can come here from light, like some kind of clarity coming in. Because the truth is that neither of you meant to hurt the other person, and actually both of you care about the other person greatly. I think that actually, again, I'm connecting this to like purity culture. Tasha, thank you so much for the super chat. I think that there's something here about like tradition, patriarchy, purity culture here that has led each of these people to trust the wrong people for the wrong reason. And or to funnel certain parts of their expression not with the other person, because these are two people maybe looking at each other like, you're expecting me to do the weird dance, and I'm trying to do that for you because I like you. It's hard to describe here, but I think there needs to be an argument. And I think that it's going to change the way, like, both of you might think that you're like not offering each other like the cup of love, but it's going to change the way I think that you're each viewing each other. And it's going to show you that there's a lot of fruits here on this tree actually. And that I think both of you are going to realize that you haven't been giving the other person what they need, but not because you didn't mean to, is because both of you are being defensive. That's what this is. There's a lot of love here. Both of you are being defensive. But there's been an ending. And this reminds me of like Esther Perel. It's like she says in her like famous TED Talk, she says most people will go through multiple, I can't remember if she said relationships or marriages in their lifetimes. So this is a couple. I actually think this really is a couple that's like, we can't be those people anymore. I actually think there's a lot of, I was noticing that too, like at the back of this, there's a lot of snake. There's some snake shedding energy here. It's like, I actually think both of you are escorting one another to higher versions of self. Like the genie can't go back in the bottle here. It's like, we can't actually pretend to do that dance anymore. We have to be real. We have to be authentic versions of ourselves. Do you want to do that together? Or is there too much water under this bridge? But if there's not, there has to be an honest communication here. And I really think that needs to involve screaming. Not violence, but I do think it needs to involve screaming or some kind of genuine expression of the emotional content behind certain things to let the other person know like how deeply each of you are affected by the other one. Because I think there's just strong love here. I also think there's a spiritual inheritance that comes from the joining of these two individuals. Like if you guys can make it work, I really think that there's like riches, like some kind of wealth, some kind of good fortune that can come in here if you take the path together. And if you get into, this is again, routine energy. And I also think there's something here where it's like you can develop communication skills. Both of you, I think, are strong communicators, or you have that potential within you. And this is going to really bring that out. I think that actually has a benefit financially, like for both people. The way in which you learn to communicate with one another does benefit the other one financially, is what I'm hearing. Helps with like routines. You going on this path and building these routines together, it has like a big payoff. I also think that like both of you are going to choose something different for your life than you realized. Like I think it's moving away from like something to do with like patriarchy, purity culture, something to do with like what was like hammered into your head, like you have to be this way in order to receive love. I think that there's proof in the pudding between you and this other person that in fact you don't have to be that way to receive love. In fact, you can be exactly who you are. That's what I think the divine like connection here is. Yeah, like both of you have been holding on to certain toxicity because I think that you're just afraid to be seen. But there's a key here. There's a key here. And I really think that this is a very spiritual group, and I think that you may, this is going to unlock some kind of spiritual understanding. I think regardless of how this goes, because like I was saying in the beginning, I think that this can unlock spiritual understanding through the pain of it all and through understanding like the miscommunications kind of after the fact and debriefing that. Kind of that was the first energy. But I also think if you guys like have this contact, if you have this like outburst, I almost want to say, that it's, I almost think you can go faster and further together, like spiritually. Yes, that's a confirmation here. Both crying in our corners instead of crying in front of each other. Yes, it would unlock spiritual gifts. Also genetic. Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. And Damien just said the karmic ex-partner pushed her chauvinistic patriarchy ideas onto him. I actually think karmic partners in this situation will exploit those roles that you're expected to play. For both of you, however that comes across, I think they're really going to irritate that. And it is going to be, That's going to be the karmic lesson, I think, for both of you. And I think it's funny. I think it's funny because I think both of you were maybe raised. There's something weird going on with culture here where it's like you were raised in the same culture somehow, but you both feel too big it's like a tight shoe, you know? You both don't fit in that culture and you both understand that within yourself, but you don't trust anybody from that culture because there's that silent knowing that there's no unconditional love available. There's that silent knowing that both of you have that you have to play along or that you're going to be like outcasted or whatever. And I think that both of you, despite having grown up in very similar things, I think God or like spirit brought you together because you can actually show each other, I love you no matter what. We don't have to do the weird dance. What would you like to do? You know? I don't know. Well, let's just figure it out. Like, I think there's a lot of healing that can like come from this. I really think this is a genuine spiritual couple, like that's built on all the right things, and it's not exacerbating any of the shoulds. You know, don't should on yourself. You should be this and you should be that. Well, I'm not, and neither are you. So now the cat's out of the bag. You know? Yeah, God is good. But I think that unpacking all of this not together, it's going to come through friction. It's going to come through heartbreak. And I actually think both of you love each other. Like you both do. And I think it's a big regret for both of you that this didn't work out if it didn't work out. If you're in that stagnation period, just know that there is a possibility, but somebody's got to make the move. And the move might involve an argument. And you shouldn't be afraid of an argument here. Both of you might be very healthy arguers as well. When you're arguing with a sane, rational person who genuinely wants to see you and understand where you're coming from, I think that, and also, you know, I think that's one of the best things that you can look for is somebody who argues well with you. And I think that's something, you shouldn't be afraid of an argument. Not with this person. I think if you have any chance at all, somebody's got to say like, look, I really like you. And we're farting around each other here. And I don't know how to not. So I'm making the first move. And I would really like to buy you a Starbucks and argue with you if you can schedule me in for 45 minutes. All right. Let's see. Hey. You gotta get past the hurt. And I think that's what we learned here, like, at that beginning stage. And it could be because for a lot of you, there could have been a situation that played out here, like in pile number 1, that misunderstanding energy. Maybe that's the cultural thing. Maybe the culture is masculine, feminine, men and women, these different chemicals. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Healthy arguing is one of the strongest signifiers, I think, of a long-term relationship. A relationship that can actually sustain into the long term. Yes. New love. A new love or recommitment to love is developing. Yeah, I'm getting that though. I think that it's like you guys really had some kind of toxicity. I don't think it was put there by either of you. I think that it was injected into both of you by some kind of cultural expectation, wherever that comes from. There was a lot of burden put upon you. And I think that you guys are actually like a healing balm. And I think that there's new love and but you have to make the decision. It's time to decide about this relationship. You have to decide on each other. You have to pick one another and you have to really do it. And look, okay, interference, an external party is intruding on this relationship, so there could be a third party. But I think for a lot of you, that third party is cultural. Longing, someone secretly yearning for you. This person is in your life to teach you a spiritual lesson, second chance. This relationship deserves a second chance. But only if you're choosing each other and you're going to fight this out or whatever. Yeah. A new love or recommitment to love is developing between the two of you. Firm boundaries are needed now. Be very, very clear and then release. Radical acceptance and surrender can help you let go. I really think this can work, but it can really only work if the two of you come together and it's like you're prepared to let each other go. You're prepared to release this. And maybe that's why if I'm just still seeing that hanged man card with the bat, like if this was put into a state of stagnation, it's because both of you need to know that you can go on without the other person. Both of you need to be prepared to release this if the other person's not playing ball, or if they don't want to be honest, or if they want to still hide behind whatever cultural thing is like blocking. I'm hearing that it's blocking us. It's from K Tempest. something here is blocking us. It's a beautiful part of the song. Yeah, it's like realizing that the thing maybe that you thought that your relationship with this person was going to be built on, some kind of cultural foundation, is the thing that's actually blocking the intimacy. It's blocking the two of you from seeing each other as people. And if you guys can do that, and also if you can state your boundaries like very firmly of like, listen, I'm willing to be with you, but not this and not this and not this. And I'm not talking about like an ultimatum. I'm just saying be very clear in your communication of what hurts and what you want. I actually think you can make a go of this. I think you can make a real solid go of this, actually. And I think it's going to be deeply fulfilling. And I think you're going to learn stuff about yourself and about the other person. I think it's going to open up some kind of feeling of like freedom and liberation. This could actually liberate you and potentially connect you with your own inner pilgrim. And this card, there's one, it says something like, the pilgrim knows that the heart is at its best on the move. So literally, like, you guys could go traveling together. You could move somewhere together. Again, I think you'll make a choice for your life that really comes from your heart space. Both of you, I think, are going to make some kind of weird choice that is going to surprise you because you've never asked, because of the being under the thumb of like religion or, you know, whatever is expected of you, this cultural thing. You never stop to ask yourself who you are, what you want, but you're going to give the other person permission. And I think you're both going to kind of be that perimeter for the other person of like, you know, he is meeting my standards, actually, religious organization. Like, he's fine. Leave him alone. You know, I feel perfectly fulfilled with what he is bringing to the table. And likewise with her, like, get off our backs. We're trying to hear ourselves here. Shut the up. You know, like, you're going to do that. And I think it could be a decision to move or to go on some kind of adventure or just to do something different, to do things different. It could involve career, something creative in your career. Pilgrim. Yeah. This is actually very beautiful. Okay. And I just want to say too, this is very different than that like rescuer, victim persecutor thing, which maybe this kind of started off as, but just because you were taught that, I don't think it's natural in either of you, where it's like, this is actually a very like healing relationship, but just because you're willing to show up and do the thing for each other, you know, and just to be like very honest. And I think that both of you have maybe done something to hurt the other person. And I think just being honest about like the fact that you didn't mean to, the fact that you were confused, the fact that you were trying to live up to something here, but because you were so confused and there was no, that's what I really think it was. For both of you, I think in its own way, it's like because you were so confused and because there was no communication, wires got crossed. You were trying to do the best thing for you. You recognized that you were an independent person, but you felt this kind of pull towards this other person, but then it wasn't talked about in a way that was upfront. So then you still felt independent and you didn't know what to do. And maybe you felt like you couldn't trust this other person. So maybe you explored other avenues. But it wasn't because you didn't have feelings for the other person. Like, you know, I just feel like that. So I feel like I'm just repeating myself at this point, but that was pile number 2, their hidden truth. Okay. Ask people directly. You just broke my heart, even though you promised you never do that from the start. Yeah. I almost feel like in a way, Spirit was trying to just like crack that, like, this is not going to be perfect. Like from the start. Boom. This is not going to be perfect. So long as you two can understand that about each other, let's go. You know? Ungrateful, thankless bitches. Okay, that was the story. Thank you, Jess. Okay, good. I'm glad. Let's move on then. Let us keep pressing. Okay. Okay, the controversy card immediately flew over. Yikes. We're off to a good start. Okay, drama, scandal, truth coming out. Okay. What is their hidden truth? Well, this feels aggressive. Already. You want war? Oh my gosh. Literally. Catherine just said that in the comments for those of you tuning in later. Okay. Somebody here is aggressive. Okay. Sagittarius, controversy, drama, scandal, truth coming out. And then Alithia being the card of truth. But okay, I really feel like the hidden truth in this situation very plainly. I think somebody said there's some way where somebody is expressing the exact opposite way that they feel for some reason. And they might have said something. What am I describing? Reaction formation. Okay, reaction formation is a defense mechanism where somebody professes to have like a belief or a value or something here that it's actually they have like the exact opposite, you know? And yeah, and I feel like that might have been like very confusing here. So why? Why is this going on? What is the truth? What's actually like hidden behind this? What's the truth here? Saturn. Okay. Saturn and Pisces. Okay, so there's definitely, I think, something here to do with work. And somebody's work could involve some kind of Geminian energy. So it could have involved like community, friends, speaking. This could be like a work group or something here like that. But this together is Uttara Bhadrapada energy. And the thing about Uttara Bhadra is they are actually very like tucked away. They're very they like their alone time. Like they like their alone time. They like to study. They like to whatever. And then they just kind of like put their head up above the water just like whenever they need to. They surface whenever they need to. So there's somebody here has these maybe two sides to them. And then there's another person here who's watching this person who is trying to climb the ladder in some way. There's so much aggression. Okay, so somebody acted out of their integrity here. That's what I want to say. Somebody acted out of their integrity. And they said or did something that caused a controversy, but it wasn't even the truth of who they are or how they're feeling. That makes sense. They might have even like tried to start some stuff here. This looks, and then somebody could have tried to start some stuff here to like watch how somebody else was going to react. Let me just get some more information here. So what is this? I feel like this person's actually really afraid of the truth coming out here because oh. Emperor in reverse. I don't like the Emperor in reverse, to be honest. So somebody clearly is like maybe not an Emperor. Yeah, there's a lot of love here. Okay, let me just I need to reshuffle this because I don't like that this was upside down. Why don't they? I really feel like this person does not want the truth coming out about this. They really don't. About who they are and what they said. Yeah, because this person doesn't want you to get a different understanding on them about something to do with their options. Their options. How did this person act? Hold on. This person is really not forthcoming. Okay, manipulative. Somebody here was just being manipulative. They acted. What's the truth of this person? What's the truth of this person? They don't feel good enough for you. Okay, I think this person was trying to get your attention. Okay? Oh my gosh, this was like pulling teeth trying to get to this. I feel like this person oh my gosh, I feel like they did something and then they were like, no, because it felt right in the moment. I think they were mad. I think that they didn't understand that there's two sides to your nature. Okay. Because you really stand out here to this person. Okay. Now I'm getting it. Because like that Gemini card, right? There's two different sides. And with that Uttara Bhadra energy, it's like you're very introverted and you like to kind of tuck away probably most of the time. But then like when you come out, you are that very Leo kind of figure is what I'm getting. Because I saw the Leo card that was coming out as well. This person is magnetically attracted to you. Like Leo is that sun energy, right? It's like it just draws everybody in. So I feel like this person just kind of maybe doesn't understand those two sides to you. And there's something about that this person was really watching. They were watching something to do with, again, that Saturn and Gemini energy. So it could have to do with work. It could have to do with conversations at work. It could have to do with, I don't know. They were watching something here and they didn't realize that, like, I don't know, sometimes you tuck yourself away and like you're very, Uttara Bhadra is like very spiritual and whatever. But then like sometimes like, you know, you have to socialize and you have to like come out, maybe to do with work, maybe to be seen at work, maybe to, there's something here. And there was a misunderstanding of that. And it made this person want to fight or like become aggressive. This person somehow got aggressive. So I think for some of you, if this is like a love relationship, they could have seen something go on that they misunderstood. And then this person acted out of their integrity and it caused some kind of controversy. And it was because they were trying to control the situation, but it was because they didn't understand something about your nature here. They caused a drama. They caused a scandal. And like, then they hated it whenever the truth came out. But for some of you, I feel like this has to do with work, where somebody was seeing you just progressing very naturally at your job. Like you are just somebody, maybe you put your head down, you're very good at like whatever it is that you do. But whenever you're asked to step into some kind of leadership role, you do it. And you're a natural because you have this other side to you that's very Leo. You understand like your work, like your position or something. And it made this person get aggressive and want to like rival or compete with you here in some way. And they did something. And I feel like the truth is coming out, or it caused some kind of drama or scandal, the truth about who they are, which is somebody who is very aggressive and very like competitive. So take this however it's resonating here, but this is a functioning dysfunction here with this person. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, they really wanted your attention and they went about it the wrong way. They caused a burden. So what is their hidden truth here? What's the hidden truth here? They're very sad. This person's sad. I don't think they wanted to lose you. So even for some of you, it's like this could have been like somebody that you thought was a friend, even at work or something, and they didn't want to lose you. But then now they feel like they can't get your attention. They want your attention. This person's hidden truth is that they want your attention. They want a new beginning. They want to clear the air. They did something here that acted out of their integrity. What's this scandal? I mean, the scandal is them seeing you as, okay, the scandal is once this person kind of balances out their energies, then they're seeing you as the Hierophant. So if this is like love relationship, then, I mean, they're seeing you as maybe as somebody that they could commit to. This could also be too late because look, this person then feels left out in the cold and they have a lot of love for you, but they don't feel like they can get your attention. They feel like they're the one for you. They feel like they're the highest cup for you, but they acted out in a way that you don't understand. But if this is work related, then I feel like they're seeing your leadership potential, but you have a different leadership potential than our narcissistic world kind of tells us that we should have. You're more advanced because the Hierophant comes after the Emperor. Oh, remember the Emperor was in reverse when it first came out. So the Emperor is somebody bossy, somebody who does like have a cohesive vision, but it's their vision and they are like very, you know, maybe that's how they saw you. Maybe they thought that you were being that way, but now they're seeing like that you're the Hierophant. You are somebody who is much more advanced. Like your ego's not in it. Like you have a broader vision. The Hierophant listens directly to God. You know, it's not about you and it's not about, it's about something bigger, but we all have to play our part and we all have to play our role. You're very loose with it. You're very, non-traditional with whatever this is. And it's, it actually provides like such a strong center of balance. So if this is work, some of you could have left a work environment and then all of a sudden everything went crazy and everybody realized that you were the person holding all of that together. You actually did have a vision. You had something that was much broader. This is somebody, I just heard realizing the pain. Like they cause themselves pain here by behaving or saying. For some of you, there really is something that this person said that just grinds them. And they said it and they're like, why did I say that? I didn't mean that. So they could have said something like to you or about you. And maybe they didn't mean it. They absolutely did not mean it. And it caused some kind of like big controversy or drama. I don't know why this person would have, they were feeling like they wanted to fight. They were somehow feeling competitive because, and there's, for a lot of these people, I think there was a willful misunderstanding of your nature at the very least. Some of these people, it was like they had an obligation to get to know you on a deeper level before they pass some kind of judgment. My husband and I were talking about this, where he was talking about ignorance. Like, we were talking about how a lot of times, institutions, but also like narcissistic individuals, they'll often put you in that position where you're like, are you really this ignorant? Like, is this a form of like stupidity or genuine ignorance? Or are you being manipulative? Is this some kind of strategy? And he said, that's all well and good, but you have to look at the person that you're asking that about. You have to look at the institution that you're asking about, because there are certain people and there are certain institutions that even if they are ignorant, they have no right to claim ignorance. They don't get to fall back on that, because we're all ignorant about certain things. But before we make our decisions or jump to some kind of like rash, like, we owe it to ourselves, especially just, there's a basic form of this, just being an adult, right? You have a responsibility to understand the truth of something. Alithia, this person did not take time to understand the truth. And they acted out of their truth, and they acted out of their integrity. And I think for a lot of these people, they said something about you or to you that they should not have, because it does not reflect their truth. There's somebody here, it's like the complete 180 opposite of how they really are and feel on the inside. And they either said it to you or they said it about you to somebody else. And this person is kicking themselves because it wasn't right. And it's because you have a Geminian nature to you that's split, that is actually very beautifully fused. And it makes you the Hierophant, is what I'm hearing. It makes you the Hierophant. The fact that you are well balanced in this way, where you are both this and that. Gemini is yes and energy. Yes, I'm this, but I am also this, right? So this person, they could have had black and white thinking. They had some kind of black and white thinking here, and they needed to break out of some kind of box. Oh my gosh, that's what I'm getting. Yeah, there's like a box here. They needed to break out of some kind of box. You broke the mold here for this person, and they're realizing that maybe too late, maybe after they caused some kind of controversy, that because you didn't neatly fit into a box, whatever box they put you in, which, surprise, surprise, this person chose to put you in a lesser box so that they could blame you and, I don't know, receive the roses themselves. They put you in a lesser box. They all of a sudden they have to face facts, and the facts are that whatever they thought about you is just not true. It's just not true. It's actually maybe more true for themselves. You're a very cooperative person and somebody that they could have built with. I'm getting a strong work vibe here. You're somebody that they could have built with, either like, together in your lives, or you're a great person. You're a great person. And they're sorry. This person is sorry. They did not respect you. For some of you, they didn't pay you enough. They didn't pay you near enough, is what I heard. For some of them, they really didn't. And they want to offer you something here. Yeah. I'm hearing that song, One Wish. If I had one wish, we would be best friends. Na 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 na. They want a new beginning. But I think they want to run into you in a place outside of where they disrespected you, because there might just be too many feelings around. Yeah. They want to watch you you've gone independent here in some way. So you could just be single, or you could have left like a certain job, and maybe you work for yourself, some of you. But there's like a strong independence, and you just kind of like doing whatever. This person is wanting to like kind of be around you to kind of know what your options are, to figure out like what to kind of offer you. I think they think you want to yell at them. And maybe you do, because I really can see that this person acted wrong. Like, there's just no doubt about it. This person was wrong. Didn't pay you for years. Oh my gosh. I'm too independent for Korean culture as a woman, and he's too sensitive as a man in Mexican culture, but I want to embrace. Interesting. I just want to let me just see controversy. For some of you, there was a controversy, especially if this was a work situation, and this person should have had your back, and they didn't. Because they were just distractions. Temptation, always busy, kept you waiting. And the dating card came out too, so I guess even in a love situation. Oh my gosh, this person just like fantasizes about reaching out to you. This person, if they have your number, they may well call you and hang up, or like is calling you from some kind of unknown number because they're hurting and they just want to hear your voice. This person is depressed. I think they're feeling, if you felt depressed and cried over this person, I think they're feeling similar to the way that you felt. Okay, anything else? This feels unfortunate because I really feel like you did nothing wrong. Like you were actually everything correct. You were so correct that like somebody couldn't even fathom your correctness in something. Like you were so much everything that this person was either threatened or competitive or treated you like shit. Spiritual attack, karma, divine intervention, facing their demons. I think spirit intervened and that in order to get this person to face their demons, that they're actually not very nice. This is a person who's not very nice, and that actually they cause quite a bit of pain to like an earth angel, somebody who really should have been treated the best of the best. I really don't like how this person treated you, not one bit. And I think they were actually a pawn in like that, you know, there is, I think personally, like definitely some truth to the whole spiritual warfare energetically. And I think that they were a pawn. They were they assisted some kind of spiritual attack to happen on you. I think this person is like very infatuated with you. Chaos, job loss. I feel like this person feels like everything is coming down around them. Look, double life, liar, deception in another relationship. Remember I said like this person is like, they acted completely different one way than this could also have been a person that was like smiling in your face, but then like even if this was a boss or something, like, yeah, I totally believe in you, I totally have your back. Meanwhile, they're doing everything humanly possible to be a dead weight and to go against like everything that you're trying to do. And they're laughing at you behind your back, or they're like, whatever, it's catching up to them. This person's double life is catching up to them. They're not very nice. They're not very integral. And everything this person projected outwards onto you, I think this person is realizing that's actually me. So boo to this person. Also broken mirrors. I'm getting 7 years bad luck. I think this person's getting extreme bad karma for the way that they treated you. I think it's 7 years. I think regardless, like somehow I think this person's learning this in a job way, like how they're learning their lesson of like what it feels like when somebody presents one way to you but actually feels another way to you. I think they're learning that in the job market. Like they could have a boss that is now doing that to them, or like they can't get an honest answer like when they're job hunting or something like that. You know, and it's like, oh, we really like your resume, but like they're learning that very much, that there's a reason why you don't behave this way to people. Yeah. Still a bit of a bully, trying to mess with the big bullies. Yeah. So just know this person is getting their karma. Something you're caught up with this person. The fact that they're a liar, the fact that this person presents one way and is actually another way. And I think that they're having a lot more respect for you because I think this person can see that you never did that. Like I said, there is actually a cohesion between these two sides of your nature. And this person was trying to not give you that credit. Or this person couldn't see that because they have two sides of their nature, but it's backstabbing. It's like liar, two-faced kind of bullshit. Yours is very cohesive and you're upfront about it. And it's your two sides are married. Like they're integrated very nicely and very well. And it's like you're greater than the sum of its parts. So, well, you're going to learn respect one way or another. Good luck. Amen. Okay, moving on. Yeah, I'm still hearing that One Wish song. If I had one wish. I think they're missing you strong. I feel like if this person in pile 3 had one wish, it would be so that they could go back in time and just not be an asshole. Nice. Oh my gosh. Do you have a YouTube channel, Grady Rot? You don't have to answer that if you don't want. Okay. General messages. Ugh, my leg is falling asleep. Maybe that means something for some of you. Let me just put my lip gloss on. What time is it? 11:23. Okay. Shall we? I feel like I dream of Jeannie. Oh gosh. I don't want to. Okay. No. I'm just trying to decide what deck to pull because somebody here is like really holding on to your energy and I'm just not about it right now. All right, Spirit, what do you want to talk about? What messages do you have for this group of humans? What do you want to talk about? What do you want to say? Okay, love and release. I don't know why this man looks so funny to me right now. Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't want a love message. Sorry. What else do you have to say, Spirit? Getting a different deck. Okay. Give me something. What do you want to talk about? Okay, Spirit wants you to stop worrying about being the favorite. It's keeping you too small. Spirit is trying to give you a higher cup right now. And you have to walk away from something that feels familiar, but it's keeping you small. But I think that it's giving you some kind of anxiety here. But there's some kind of auspicious nature in taking action because I'm hearing Mars and Gemini. Mars and Gemini is Mergashira energy. That's a very, very auspicious sign. But it is kind of like bringing that like anxiety because Mergashira, it's like a deer. And you know how a deer is very alert, like very, very alert. And they're always like running because obviously it's a prey animal. But there's something here that, yeah. And it maybe whatever this is that you feel like you need to move away from, it could show up as an authority in your life, or it could maybe you attribute that. That's the thing. Like there's some kind of pulling apart that needs to happen because like you're attributing that to like what makes you successful or what pays your bills. And I'm hearing Spirit say like, if I can never separate you out from that, how can you ever get any information to the contrary? Like if you're holding on to something here so tightly, and it's something about like being the favorite, because I'm hearing like Rohini energy, and Rohini is like the favorite wife to the moon. It's Venus ruled. It's, you know, in the middle of that Taurian energy, but it's, maybe it's power by proxy here as well, where it's like you kind of know how to put on like the song and dance for people in order to be what is expected of you. But I think, you know, because Rohini is kind of that born sexy yesterday sort of energy. I think kind of like Marilyn Monroe, you know, where it's very much like, oh, I don't know why people treat me this way. Like, you know, kind of a thing. And I know a lot of women like to keep ourselves safe. We have to play that kind of like, oh, I don't know. I don't, you know, but I feel like there's something else, like Spirit is wanting you maybe to be more direct. There might be something here that you need to do, like to be more direct, but like trying to, it really is coming across like managing other people's emotions. Like maybe you feel like, well, I don't want to like hurt this person's feelings or whatever. But if you just say something direct, you're going to have some kind of victory here. Okay. So if there's a certain situation, and maybe this even has to do with like job. Yes, I'm telling you, there's some kind of, this is the victory card, and victory maybe in love here as well, waiting for your ships to come in. Like saying something directly gives you some kind of victory. What else do you want to say about what needs to be, okay, let's see, what needs to be released? I got a spread formulating here. We need to let go of, what do you need to move towards? Oh my gosh, all of these are major arcanas. Okay, wow, this is like major soul lesson then. Okay, so letting go of this chariot energy. This is Cancer energy. This is traditional energy. Also, Cancer famously is that little crab, and the crab likes to move from side to side. It doesn't move directly at something. I feel like you're trying to move side to side here. And for some of you, there is like a parental thing. You're trying to make something work with somebody here. And for some of you, I really think it is parents. Like, okay, well, your dream is this for me, and my dream is this. And here's how I can fuse both of them together, because my dream does include appeasing you or something. Like, there could be something to do with a car, or like a car trip or something like that you need to let go of here. This is also something to do, again, traditionality. And I just heard like, yeah, being that being the pride and joy of your family. I think you need to disappoint somebody here, maybe. And like this, yeah, the common thread here is this star energy, Aquarius energy, healing family wounds, like being, I feel like the black sheep of the family. I read for a lot of people who have black sheep of the family kind of energy, like you are kind of movers and shakers. Aquarius is our own freak flag, but it's very healing, and it's something that like kind of breaks through certain boundaries and certain barriers. But I'm hearing like, how are you ever going to do that if you never like speak? I feel like some of you need to speak your truth here, maybe to a parental, and then moving towards some kind of balance and some kind of justice, because I think there's something here that you haven't actually received your justice. Oh my gosh, with the major arcana, the world card energy. Because how are you, there's something here that you're meant to be seen for that is maybe even online for some of you, that it's like it's unusual, or it's like breaking with tradition, or it's something that, or going after something that's in a different, I don't know, country, or yeah, and actually you're gonna get a lot of attention here for this, and it's breaking, you going after whatever this is breaking some kind of cycle. Tower with the major arcanas. We have 5 major arcanas in a row. This is a huge soul lesson, and I think that this is going to be a tower, and it's something traditional for some of you. It's like moving away from a relationship that just it's not traditional, or like maybe this is even saying like that you don't want the kind of partner that you have. This could be as extreme as, you know, like maybe you don't like the gender your parents think that you should like, but for others of you, it's like, I just don't see myself fitting into this box, or I no longer fit into this box, or something here like that. And this is all going to be like very healing, but you're moving towards some kind of Libran energy, and you got to tell the truth is what I'm getting. Hold on here. Interesting. Okay, I'm just going to talk out like why I'm confused, because, okay, so this is the energy that you're supposed to be moving through, but then we've got the Sun card coming out. So I do feel like this is shining a light or a truth here on something. Just saying this, some of you, this maybe involves a child. Some kind of truth that involves a child here, that's hidden somehow, that involves maybe paternity, or yeah. But the Sun debilitates in Libra. So you're moving towards this energy of like that Sun energy debilitating in that like diplomatic, which the Sun usually I take to be you, but maybe this is some kind of philosophy. I'm hearing it doesn't work for me. There's some kind of like way that maybe an authority figure is trying to guide you or something, but it just doesn't work for you because you feel kind of like lost in it. Yeah. And this has to do with love. This has to do with strength, a skill that you have, communication. Yeah, I feel like some of you have something here to communicate. You probably already know what it is. And yeah, it's non-traditional. There's something here that's non-traditional, but then you don't want to be left out in the cold here over that. And I think maybe that's like the negotiation process here of like, I don't feel like I should be left out in the cold because I have this like certain need. I don't know. Like, what are my options here? Like maybe bring them in on that. I don't know. And I don't know what they're going to say or anything. Like, what are my options here? Yeah. Cause I'm hearing like, I don't want what I have, or like this, I don't want to seem ungrateful, but like, this isn't enough for me. Or like, it feels to me like you have a dream, cause way down deep inside, I got a dream. And yeah, I don't know. This is like a lot. Let me just see. Anything else? Spirit, what advice do you have for that situation? Do your parents want you to marry someone? Is that what I'm getting? But it's an unequal give and take. I'm just seeing that like, yeah, this traditional energy, it's like if you marry somebody, then like, I don't know. This to me feels like there's pressure on you to be with somebody or a certain kind of person that you're not really into. Okay. Anything else, Spirit? Let's move on. Let's get some other cards here. Anything else, Spirit? What else do you want to talk about? Okay. Having a different perspective on conflict and competition, because some of you might be feeling inadequate when it comes to this. And you might be comparing yourself unfavorably to certain people's like charisma or like skill set or something. But I really feel like this is pushing you into some kind of hermit mode. I know we hear about hermit mode all the time in the tarot. Yeah, considering your dreams, considering your strengths, and making a plan. Yeah. So now is not the time to act. I feel like now is the time for stagnation, actually. Like going within, viewing something that's very competitive differently. This could be some kind of field, a very creative field potentially. Going within, doing some soul searching, connecting with your creativity, taking some kind of evaluation of your strengths and your weaknesses, and making some kind of plan before you make a decision here. And like, yeah, finding the temperance, because it's going to help you make this decision, whatever it is, if you come at it from this place of temperance. And the way to think about this decision is not whether or not you're going to win or lose. It has to do with maybe what's rejuvenating for you. What's worth taking a risk on. But it's a process to kind of take that inventory. So it's getting a different perspective here, again, on some kind of competition. Don't look at it as competition. Look at it as a commitment. And a new beginning. Like you're at the beginning of some kind of journey. Okay, so maybe there's something, you could be in conflict with yourself here too. And it's like, don't think of it as that. Think of it as, some, like the beginning of some kind of journey. And you might have to, break somebody's heart, maybe, with the truth to set them free mentally. And maybe this is you. I don't know what that means. Okay. Okay. One more message and then we're going to call it quits here. Anything else you want to say? What other messages do you have, Spirit? Fate. Time apart. Oh. Spirit wants to talk about fate. Some distance will help bring clarity. Leap of faith. I feel like Spirit is, a journey. So I think you're being encouraged to think about fate philosophically, what is fated and what is not. And I think that maybe you feel that you're destined from some kind of path or destined for something, and some time apart is going to actually help. But it doesn't necessarily mean that something's not fated, unavailable. Leap of faith versus unavailable. Okay, children could be involved here. If there's no children, at the very least, there's inner children here. But it's time to decide about this relationship because there could be children that are involved. Children that need to be protected. You are safe and divinely guided. Okay, I think that I get it. Okay, so Spirit is saying, look, take some time away from looking through the lens of fate. Because I think some of you are like, oh, this is fated or this is not fated. But in reality, there are two forces in the world, right? It's the Tao, which is kind of like that fate destined energy. And to me, I feel like that is the path that God has intended us for. It's our highest and best path. Some people call it like the original impulse, like what started everything, because the ends and the means are one, right? There's that path. But the opposite force is our own free will. So they were talking about like decisions. Yeah, like we have the right to make our own decisions here. So there's the intersection of like this fate energy and free will. All of this is so complex. They're saying you trying to look at certain problems through the lens of fate. Is this fated? Is this not fated? I think Spirit is saying, look, you don't understand the concept of fate, not because you're stupid or anything like that, but just because it's a big, 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 big concept, and it's not the only force in the world. Okay. And it's not the only force at play here in this situation. So you need to kind of pull back, stop thinking about this through the lens of fate, start, take some time away from that. Distance is going to bring clarity. In the meantime, know that the attraction you feel is mutual and that old wounds and childhood issues need revisiting. Yeah. Mastery. Yeah. So this is, okay, I get it. So Spirit is saying, thank you, Luna. Spirit is saying that you're working on mastering the human experience. And sometimes it's hard for us as human beings because we're the intersection of so many different things. You are the amalgamation of so many different layered systems, right? Like you have a respiratory system and a cardiovascular system. You've got a limbic system, that emotional part of the brain. You're very logical. Like you have, thought patterns, and you're this layered kind of being. And then life itself is this layered thing. So we kind of have this temptation to reduce certain things down in order to try to navigate, in order to try to find our way by saying, oh, I think, like pulling on one thread and saying, okay, I think this is what's at play here. And it might be at play. And it might be at play even to a large degree. Maybe 80% is actually coming from the string that you've identified and you've picked up and you've pulled on. But then there's that 20% that's maybe coming from somewhere else, or it's coming up, divided up against other things. There's an amalgamation of many different forces. So I think that you've been looking at something through fate, the lens of fate. Oh, this is fated, so it means it's always going to happen. Fate is not the only force at play here. And understanding that, you also have free will. Every person involved here also has free will. For some of you, there are children involved in the mix here that now need to be considered. And this is one thing coming from the Christian perspective that I really understood is I think that, God, we're encouraged to look at like God the Father, and we're children to God the Father, right? Basically, like we drive him nuts, and like you really understand like his perspective, like living a human life, of, well, he wants to raise us up right, but there's this delicate balance of how much he's going to interfere in that, and how much he's going to let off, and like let us make mistakes, let us get ourselves into some trouble, let us, all of that. Understand that you're mastering how to be a person. You're mastering certain perspectives through emotion and through limitations. Okay, so I'm hearing that. So instead of looking through the lens of fate, look through the lens of emotions, look through the lens of limitations, and look through the lens of free will. Your free will, other people's free will, right? I feel like you're being invited into some kind of like chewing on something. Again, in your hermit mode, chew on these kinds of things and understand that these are lenses that you can also view the situation through, because we don't want to delude ourselves and then get angry at Spirit for saying, oh, like Spirit is like the realm of everything is like fated or destined. Well, that is like probably God's, God wants certain things for you, but God, the way that God teaches us isn't always through like discipline and repercussion. Sometimes he's the parent that's like, you're old enough to make your own decisions. Like you've gotten yourself into this mess, and it would be beneath me and it would be beneath you for me to get you out of this mess. If you're going to learn the lesson, you have to step by step dig yourself out of the hole that your decisions. I'm not mad that you went against the path that I wanted for you, the fated path, the destined path. I'm not angry with you over that. I wish it could have been easier, because I knew this was the best path for you, because I can see how integrated all of your systems are, and I know more about you than you know about yourself, and I've factored that in, and I know that's the highest path for you. But clearly a part of you was pulling you in this other direction. Aren't you curious as to why? I know that if I intervene here, that you're not going to get as much out of it. So my hands are off of it. So please like look at it through that lens as well. That's the richness of living a human life. I know that we don't want to suffer, right? Human beings don't want to suffer, but we learn so much through coming here and experiencing suffering, emotional suffering or whatever. And I'm hearing don't miss out on the richness of that. Yeah, like maybe it would have been easier if you went down this path and if you understood everything about yourself from day one. That would have been easier for all of us, But it's okay that you didn't. But let's use this, the fruitfulness of this. Nothing is ever wasted here. Like, get curious about yourself and about these forces that are all at play here. Have that be fuel for you to integrate that into yourself, because that is actually how you become that best version of yourself. That if I were to put you at the beginning of the maze all over again, having integrated that, that's the change that you actually needed in order to actually know and feel the right path for you when the time was right, right? But we are so outcomes focused here. Like, as people, we think, oh, well, this was the highest, best path. This because God wanted to put me in this certain position, and maybe he did, but it's not just outcomes focused. It's an experience. This is the experience here is the alchemy. That's the richness. That's the richness. Don't lose sight of that, because God's not going to skip you to the outcome and have you miss all the richness. That's usually the voice of like that tempting, that devil energy. That's how you can kind of get into trouble and learn the difference between those two voices. So it's broadening your perspective. Yes, there's a certain amount of like faded energy, Tao energy, but God really is not very controlling. And it's so funny to me, because sometimes I'm like, why would you let me do that? And I'm like, I love that I at least have the illusion of free will. Or that I have like my own patterning, like even if there's not free will, it's just because my own patterning is so strong that it's going to pull me down like in a certain way. But all of this is for you, is what I'm hearing. All of this is for you. All of this is unfolding for you. Try not to be too hard on yourself, but don't live in delusion either. Like, like hold yourself to account, really debrief this with yourself. And I think Spirit is saying, just try on these different lenses. Yes, look through the lens of fate, look through the lens of highest and best path, but then look through and understand where the gap was, if that's something that you kind of feel. Yeah, we can write an essay on the topic of suffering and working towards unsuffering. We don't suffer fools, though. The other thing that I would say this is why I like Buddhism so much, is because suffering is just considered a fact of life. And when you life is suffering, that's the Four Noble Truths. Life is suffering. So when you understand that, it's like you kind of set a low bar for yourself. And weirdly, in my experience at least, and it doesn't have to be true for you, I'm just saying, like, for a lot of people and for myself included, when you set that low bar for yourself, where you're not expecting to just be elated all the time and then you're disappointed when you're not, or when you can't seem to figure it out, everything just kind of pleasantly surprises you. And instead if life is suffering, then you can choose to put your focus on, how can I remain content? Like, yes, this is going on, but how can I be contented here in this moment? And maybe that's actually some kind of higher truth that Spirit is trying to get you to build within yourself, is despite whatever's going on in the external world, and whether you feel like you're in a situation that best suits you or doesn't best suit you, or all these like kind of subjective things, how can you manage your own internal system? How can you be as contented as is possible? Learn how to manage the human system is what I'm hearing. Like, it's about mastering that above all else. That's Spirit's perspective. That's Ramana Maharshi. The one thing you got to do here, wake up. You don't have to be with this person or that person or do everything perfect and, whatever. Certain things will be easier for your ego, but even if you don't hit all of the marks just perfectly, nothing is wasted here. There's a higher goal, and that higher goal is liberation. It is self-realization. And that self-actualization, it literally is, they call that like the release of ignorance. Like when you're truly realized. There's something higher, even than like the things that we think is going to bring us happiness or fulfillment. Yes, there are certain things that are better suited to us and that can support. And like I'm sick right now, and I'm taking medicine to support what I need to support, and it's easing my time. But even if I didn't have that medicine, it's my own body's fever response that's going to fight off the cold. And if I'm not comfortable through it, I can still get through it, and I can still like be healthy at the end. I hope that makes sense. Anyway. All right. Catherine said she listened to a podcast about being happy and elated all the time is chemically, neurologically impossible and a setup for failure. I could not agree more. And I think the sooner that we get to that place, the better off that we can be. Not that you need to put up with abuse or, somebody intentionally causing that, because it shouldn't be too hard either, but it's just, being at peace. Okay. I'm going to get off my soapbox here. Thank you guys so much. Okay. And then the last thing, it's about forgiveness. How can you bridge the gap? Okay, I just heard there's a higher lesson here, and it is about forgiveness. Okay. If spirit has illuminated to you where you have maybe misstepped and where you have misunderstood, where you have caused harm for yourself, whether you have caused harm for others, it is about forgiveness. That is the higher lesson here. Forgiving yourself or forgiving another will help you move forward. How do you forgive yourself for not being perfect, for being fallible, and for not making all the right decisions? And yes, that having consequences on other people, but we all do it in our own ways. And having that realistic perspective of the human experience. Grace. How can you make space in your life for more grace? You know, and I'm hearing that spirit is saying, look, we call you out on the harsh stuff here sometimes, not in order to induce some kind of harmful judgment. It's because we need to look at the truth sometimes so that we can take an accurate accounting of where we are. But through all of that, how can we learn? That's to help us like learn, and part of that learning, we have to be able to forgive, and we have to know that we can never expect perfection from ourselves and that, or from other people, and that maybe there was a lot of pain caused through our ignorance, through even deliberately sometimes, but as long as we're making that steady progress, that is a win. That is a win for spirit. That's a win for everybody in your life that you feel like you've hurt. The best amends that you can make is forgiving and learning and integrating and alchemizing and moving forward and not being the same person today that you were yesterday that maybe lived in that ignorance. Right. Okay. Yeah, it's about forgiveness. It's about grace. I'm hearing if it hasn't been about that for you in the past, if if it's about blame, or it's not about that. It's about forgiveness, which starts with self, and then it's about grace. And once we give that to ourselves, we can more easily give that to other people, because we can see and understand people that a lot of it is just, it wasn't ever really about us. For a lot of people that we think hurt us personally or intentionally, most people are just trying to figure out their own shit and failing miserably. And yes, it can hurt you. And like, I'm not talking about people who do stuff on purpose. That's a different category of asshole. I'm not talking about that. But like, yeah, I feel like you guys get where I'm going with this. So, thank you. Thank you so much for showing up here. Thank you guys so much for being my people, and get well soon, the Puggets. Yes. We're getting spicy tomorrow on Patreon. True. We have an 18 plus live stream over on Patreon. What are their spicy thoughts? Catherine, thank you so much for the super chat. Such a beautiful message. Even the tough stuff. Thank you. Yes, you're welcome. Okay. I'm going to go. I let it happen when it's happened. Okay. Very beautiful message. Okay, cool. Arju, I hear you asking for help. I don't know that I can help you. Oh. Okay, I do have to go. Okay, thank you guys for showing up. Bye.